I've known Ben since the fall of my freshman year, so 2.5 years now.
I think about 5 years if if Ben's graduating this year. Yeah, I met him when he was a freshman. I still remember that pretty vividly, actually, when we were, well, maybe not the first time I met him, but early on practice, noticing him and thinking that I would like him and that he was going to be a good player.
Since last fall, so about a year and a half now.
I have known Goosen since about a year and a half ago.
I've known Goose since 2013, 2014 Frisbee season when he would have been a freshman coming in for NUN.
I have known Ben since I was a sophomore in high school and he was a freshman. We, for some reason, both took study hall, and I was in a wheelchair at the time. So, you really know he didn't have any friends at that time since he was coming up to the kid in the wheelchair. So that's about 10 years I've known Ben.
I met Goose after a practice in the fall, my middler year. He promptly started touching me on the knee, like he usually does, and then started asking about my sex life.
I've known Ben for about 16 years, since I was, or 16, 14, it's a lot either way. I met him in elementary school, and it was actually, I literally just walked up to him and said, "Hey, do you want to be my friend?" And he said yes, and then, time has passed, and now we're here.
I've known Goose for 5 years playing Frisbee together. 2 of those we captained together, which was the 2 best captain years of my 3. Shout out to Goose for doing 3 as well.
I've known Goose for about 4 years now. Met him my freshman year.
I've known him since I was a freshman, and now I'm a third year, so 2.5 years, maybe almost 3.
I've known Ben for like 4.5 years now. I met him spring of freshman year.
I don't really remember meeting him. He didn't really leave an impression on me. So I think it was probably like 2013. 2013. But how long have I known him? Probably like 2 years.
I've known Ben since 6th grade, so that's 11 years, which seems like a really long time. But I guess that Ben's graduating college now, so it is a really long time.
I've known Goose for a year and a half. Met him probably the first practice we had freshman year.
How long have I known Ben? Since like 4 years, since day one of orientation. Still salty about the fact that I didn't get invited to play Ultimate Frisbee with everyone that day because I was taking a nap. It's fine. Still haven't played Ultimate Frisbee with Ben since then, but it's cool.
And I think it's been, 18 coming on 19 years now since kindergarten. Miss Schaefer's class. We were really a handful.
I've known him since freshman year, 2014.
I've known Goose since the first day of orientation, 2013, a weekend in July. So 5 years, basically.
Over a year, like a year and a half, I think.
My relationship with Goosen consists of shitting on Ari together.
Our relationship's always been pretty awesome. I would describe it as very relaxed, our relationship. It's not a lot of bullshit. It's if he's having a good time, I'm having a good time, and vice versa.
I hate how corny it sounds to say that Ben is like a brother to me, but I'm gonna have to go with brother. Ben and I have the combination of loving to just annoy the crap out of each other and just roast each other and just, oh man, I love it when he just gets angry.
Last year with Joan and Barb as captains, Goose was really the one reaching out to the freshmen. So definitely a more personal relationship than I was expecting from an upperclassman.
If I can nail the dap, it's like pretty sick. Like we're tight, we're bros. If I don't do that, it's still pretty cool, but could be better. I'm working on it. I think I'm better at it now. We'll see when I see you in like a month.
It's a lot of me texting him to do stuff. It's a first year captain with Goose, texting him like, "Hey, should we talk about these practice schedule? Should we get on this for this week?" And it's usually I get a response several hours later he has a lot of laundry that he's often doing. Yeah, so it's a lot of me waiting around for him to respond to stuff.
It's definitely very lighthearted, fun. You know, we like to mess around, have a good time together, and really just dive into whatever we're getting into at that time.
It's awesome, honestly. It used to be all ultimate based, but I think lately it's been growing to a better friendship overall. I feel comfortable talking to him about personal things. I'm really enjoying that. Looking forward to see where it goes next.
I met Ben through my other friends, and at first didn't really know him that well, but I've definitely got to know him better over time. And even if we don't hang out a ton and I don't see him super often, every single time that I do, I have a really good time because he's a really smart and thoughtful person.
Ever since I've known him, he's been a captain of the ultimate team, and he's always made everyone feel welcome, and we've just been good friends since freshman year. Yeah.
I've had a great time with Goose and miss him dearly now that I'm not on the team, and look forward to live with him next year.
When I first met Goose, I definitely thought that he was weird. I did not think that we would be friends.
We cook a lot. He does the onions, I do the peppers, and we do the chicken together.
I was chosen as his flyer, which was cool, and off the field relationship, he was always the guy hanging out with the freshmen. He went to the dining hall a lot. We swiped him in, I swiped him in, and it was super cool. Just as a freshman, he would invite me for pre-games and stuff like that, and just hang out, which actually helped a lot because as a freshman, you kind of scared the upperclassmen.
But seriously, it's a good relationship. I'm always happy to see him, always happy to catch up, share stories, talk about the good old days when we could go clubbing at 4 p.m. in Dublin and not have to worry about our classes because they didn't count or anything. Those were good.
We don't take ourselves too seriously. Able to hang out, able to share some stories, swap some stories, and then not really worry about being at a place with no people, being at a place with 100 people, or being at the back room of casting flag and whatever have you. It all works with Goose.
He's the person I call when you just kind of need someone who understands you and will back you up and remind you that you've got this and all those good things.
One word to describe our friendship is hype. Not in that we're hyped together, but mostly in that Goose brings the hype. Always. He always gets me up when I need a boost.
My relationship with Goose is troubled. I would say it's the epitome of love-hate, he claps his hands like that, and I hate him. I hate him, I can't stand him, but I would be so pissed if I didn't know the kid,
It started out, I think, really personal because he reached out to me when I was a freshman, and I really appreciate that. It felt like at the time there was a huge divide between the older guys and the younger guys, and I always thought he was that really cool older kid, even though he was only a year older than me.
Definitely pretty physical with each other. Ben likes to really get up in there and push around, have a good time.
When I first met Goose, I thought he was this cool older dude. Kind of looked up to him, seemed cool, and as I got to know him, I just realized that he was more and more ridiculous. I can't take him seriously, even when he talks, and I know he wants to be serious sometimes. I still can never take him seriously, so I guess he's just a fucking goofball.
Yeah, he's always the one that's kind of looking out for people. Even if it doesn't feel like it's super personal sometimes, even whenever I'm down, I know he'll come over and be like, yo, are you you doing okay? Even if I think it's not super obvious, he's checking in for people.
A little bit of being embarrassed by him because I won't say it hasn't happened where Ben has started to do Stomp the Yard in the middle of a Chipotle, a park, movie, really anywhere. So the combination of loving each other, annoying each other, and being embarrassed by him.
I'd say it's a good relationship. Very good. I think we're pretty compatible on a bunch of levels. We're both very competitive, want to win, want to get better at things, especially in sports. And then also kind of driven to, academically also be successful. We also got along well, dancing, partying. It was just a lot of fun.
He's a very caring person, and our relationship is he's supportive and betters my experience in a lot of ways.
Two things really put it together. One of them is I have definitely actually strangled Ben before. That was an interesting memory. Not my fondest, but an interesting memory. But I've also had some really great talks, and I've learned a lot about myself and my life and what I think about the world because of talks I've had with Ben and time we've had to discuss. And I would never trade it for anything.
On the field, you know, he's been captain the 2 years I was here. I think, I definitely respect him. Like, the whole team respects him. I think he's a very good leader, and he knows how to like get people in check, both like on the field and off the field. And also, he's a very fun guy, and I would say we're friends.
In all seriousness, Goose has been a great teammate, friend the last 3 years. We've had a great time. Really enjoyed captaining with him this year. He has a job before me, so I hate him for that. But looking forward to this last month of the season and hanging out with him going up to graduation.
It's been mostly you cracking yourself up most of the time, and me finding it pretty hilarious as well. I don't think I've had anyone around me that's made me laugh nearly as much as you have, even in moments when there probably shouldn't have been you cracking up while Allie's just face down on the ground with a bunch of dirt in her mouth. You still made it a little bit more lighthearted than the event probably should have been.
Like this morning we ate breakfast together and we just shot the shit and like talked about some nice in-depth stuff about where we're at right now. He's excited for his job, that kind of stuff. And it's those little moments that are so much more important than any other moment in college, I think. And we can have great in-depth conversations, and I'm gonna miss him.
Slanky.
Ooh, gangly.
Oh, not
physically gangly.
Physically slanky.
I'm gonna go cocky, but in the best way possible. On a more genuine note, I, especially in high school, the way you would carry yourself and, just in all respects, even professionally, was pretty inspiring.
An idiot. A lovable idiot, though. You can't take him seriously. You kind of respect him a little bit, but then he talks and he's an idiot.
Okay,
Love him, though.
he stole mine because I said goofy, but lovably goofy.
I would say inspired, because every time I talk to him, everything he ever does, it always seems like it comes from a place that is very meaningful to him.
Probably swag. I mean, I've never seen a kid so confident repping a 3-pound chain just all over the place in like a normal setting. And he bought that in Iceland, not as a joke. Also, like the Icelandic fishing sweaters he's been rocking recently, like the whole style, like takes a lot of confidence to walk out in public in that stuff.
I'm gonna give you 2.
Okay.
First one is whack as fuck. That's 3 words, but just whack.
I would say stasty. Stasty would be my word. If you don't know, I know you wanted me to explain what that meant, Ari, but if you don't know what stasty means, there's just no hope. I don't feel like explaining it. It is pretty self-explanatory.
Leader, he's been captain both years that we were here.
It's soft pick, but not too shabby.
Hard cheese.
Hard
This
cheese,
is pretty
definitely
hard cheese.
Yeah.
I would describe Ben as really thoughtful. I know that a lot of people, give him a hard time about maybe sometimes not being the most communicative or things like that, but I definitely would say that I've never doubted that Ben cares about all of his friends a ton.
I would say that Ben, in one word, is dauntless. I really like that word, and I think that I would label it to very few people, but it's the combination of fearlessness and determination, and that is Ben. I think that he's willing to jump, feet first into any situation and overlook the big challenges and hard work that it will take, because if he is passionate about something, he'll do it, and he won't really look back.
Chiller? I don't know. Yeah, what a cool dude. What a cool dude. He's an absolute chiller. I think that word describes him. It's also a word he would probably use himself. So that's how I would describe Goose. Goose is a chiller. He's a cool hombre.
I think you instilled a lot of confidence in me by really believing in, my intellectual abilities, my passions, really feeding into some of those.
The real word, I think, for Goose would be authentic. He doesn't do anything for anybody else, which is what I strive to be, but often fall short of. So, yeah, authentic.
There's a lot of words that could work here, but I guess I'll be hella cliche and just say passionate, because I think that kind of covers a bunch of the bases, whether it be for the environment and the work he wants to do for that, or on the Frisbee field, or just helping people. I think that this is a stupid ass word, everyone's gonna say passionate, but I do really actually mean that.
He's always given himself to make the world better by his own hands, and just by trying to inspire people to think critically and be wise. That seems a little vague, but it's definitely a real feature of his.
Gonna stick with hilarious. I still think he's super funny, but penis definitely popped in my head. I don't know why. Yeah, he just has this humor that I think everyone can relate to, and he is so good at reading the room, and just a super funny guy.
My word would be passionate. He really cares a lot about whatever he's doing at that time, whether it's academics or ultimate or relationships or friends or whatever it might be. He definitely pours a ton of passion into things that he cares a lot about. Something I respect about him.
He has that saucy side. He's also, a nice sauce on a pasta just makes the pasta better,
Puts an effort to know what's happening in their lives and pays attention when they're talking. And every time I have a conversation with him, he's thinking about his answers and not just saying things to say things.
Even in 6th grade, he would try and get with girls that were a foot taller than and way too cool for him, but, fearlessness and determination.
Goose is just goofy. That's what he is. He's just fun to be around, always just making jokes. But when he needs to be serious, he can be. But it's always fun. That Goose is gonna pick you up, brighten your day whenever you need it to.
I'd say driven is the word I'd choose. In his personal life, in his ultimate career, on the field, and in his professional life, he goes and gets what he wants, and it shows. He's sort of a natural leader, and I think that's a really cool personality trait about him. It's something that I admire.
I think it'd be unique. Goose is definitely a great person. There's just no way of describing him. He stands out in everything he does. Definitely, I can't even begin to describe different words I have for him, and just combine as a unique person. I'm glad to be friends with him.
He's the kind of guy who doesn't give up on something until it's done, and he doesn't let something be half-baked. It's always full Monty. It's always, it comes to the real world in the way that he intended it to.
He likes chains. Chain, is that a word?
I cannot.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of he makes a lot of sounds, doesn't he? He goes ooh, no, maybe not.
So the first step to dancing like Ben Goosen is to pick something way out of your cultural range. So more of these.
Dance style, a goofy white boy from Colorado. He's trying a little bit to be black with the gold chain around his neck.
I don't know what he does. Maybe it's a lot of facial stuff. It gets like that overbite with some moody lips. You're like, and then yeah, moody.
I gotta do it. It's like chill, you know. You like don't want to look like you're dancing too hard, but he's like, you got a head bob, a little bit of like the hand motion, feeling the music. He's like he really gets into like feeling the music. It's funny.
He makes a face like something smells really bad, like, and then he dances like a 50-year-old at a bat mitzvah, and you would hope that the 50-year-old is drunk, but really they're just sober and a really bad dancer, and that's Ben.
For sure he goes like, gets one of these up here.
Can I imitate his dancing style? No. Can I try? Only if you get me a chain.
When you ask about Goose dancing, I don't think of a move, but I think of him going, woo! And it's in any moment where the vibe is good at the room, or maybe it's not, and it's just Goose's vibe is feeling good and everyone else is not having a great time. But as Goose is having a great time, you know you're gonna get a few woos in there. So
I remember vividly this one time freshman year, I think it was like the last party, and Jesse Harris and Goose have, like, I walk into a dance-off that they're having, and I was like, I couldn't handle it. It was hilarious. They were both so serious about it, but they were both just, it's too much for me.
White dude trying so hard to be black. There's so much swagger, but so little swagger, you know?
And then starts swinging arms. Does he have his eyes open? He's just looking up. That's what it is. He's a little moody guy. Never looks like he's happy when he's dancing. I think that might be one of the keys.
You ever see Gronk dance? It's pretty much that, except minus like the 100 pounds of muscle.
I'm not going to incriminate myself trying to imitate Ben's dancing style, but Ben, to all the haters out there, your dancing style is the shit. So don't let anyone tear you down. Keep on doing it. You know, no one does it better than Ben Goosen.
No, I don't think so. We both kind of do our own things on the dance floor. I think we complement each other well, but no one's. At least I hope Ben doesn't think that he can imitate my dancing style. I definitely don't think I could imitate his.
What up, fam? Look at my chain. Oh, swag.
Goose gets in there. He's a pretty good dancer. What do you think?
I agree. Can't imitate it though.
No, I don't think anyone could imitate Goose successfully.
One of my favorite memories with Goose was this year. I forget exactly why, but he invited me over to just his apartment, and it was just a bunch of volleyball boys there, and then me and Goose, and we were playing some game where we like threw dice or something, and we were killing everybody, and then we went out with Willie and some other volleyball person to the hill. And it's just an all-around great night. Goose was a wonderful host and just brightens my day every day.
Man, tons to choose from. Let's see, the ones that popped into my head right away when I wrote this down: late night vids, or playing hearts or playing Risk and things like that. Hiking, traveling together, listening to music together. One memory that popped into my head in particular that I love is we went to North Padre Island. We played sevens till way too late. It was 100 degrees outside. The wind was battering us, and we slept in a big pile of sand and sweat and grossness. But we never fail to have a good time when Ben's there. So,
favorite memory of Goose? Probably my first year in 18, I think. Yeah. We were having a lot of poach practices in the mornings over at the Fens, and we were continuing to party the night before. And just a lot of guys were hungover at practice. So, Goose, being the great captain that he is, really laid down the law that week. Like, no more coming hungover to practice. Let's take some care and responsibility, put in some effort. Next week, we have practice at noon up in Bedford. Goose shows up very late for the car. We're in a I think we were in a zip car driving to practice, and we had to pull over on Huntington so Goose could dry heave out the side of the car for a little bit. And then at practice, didn't say a word the entire time. Noticed something was a little off with Goose, and we get out at the end of practice. Practice ends. Goose hasn't said a word. I see him just holding a piece of uneaten toast. He couldn't get it down. So, you know, just a great day with Goosen. He was wearing the Carmelo Anthony jersey that we gave out to MVPs from the previous week. I don't know why he had it on that week. But on the way home with Corey, Goose ran into a little trouble on the tee and puked into his water bottle. And then ran off and puked in the trash can at the station. Just, you know, a great day for Goose.
I think, do you remember, like before regionals, like when we were done with school, we went to Ari's apartment to like, have a freshman hang, and Goose showed up and he's like, it was like the Thursday before regionals, he's like, we drinking?
Yeah, I don't know, yeah, he showed up with like a rack.
Yeah, and then that turned out to be a really fun night.
Me, you, Jake, Goose, and Ari.
And Sophia.
And Sophia.
Freshman hang plus Goose.
Yep. Back in the middle school, high school days, hanging out, you know, in our parents' houses. At the Goosen's house, we'd have family dinners, and we would watch HGTV and shows like Intervention and The Bachelor, and having the talks until 3 a.m. about life's deepest issues. And I think that those really mean a lot to me and are funny to look back on because, you know, at 16, the things that keep you up until 3 a.m. and you worry about and think about, I think a lot of us would give anything to have those concerns right now. But, you know, even 11 years later, we both have college degrees now and still don't have the answers to a lot of questions that we ask ourselves about, you know, navigating life, but that's okay. Those 3 a.m. talks will hopefully happen for the rest of our friendship, but just the, you know, the simple times, I think I cherish those the most with Ben.
I hosted a party for my birthday in December, and I remember just being kind of stressed out about it the entire time, like walking through, making sure everyone was having a good time. And I saw Goose just in the dance floor with his shirt off, just looking absolutely ridiculous. And one of my roommates goes, "Who the fuck is that kid?" I'm like, "Oh, that's just Goose. He's kind of cool." And then just kind of left. And Goose was just kept dancing with his shirt off, looking like a complete idiot.
Is going to really any sports game, but especially the Sox game. That was just an absolute blast. I can't even remember if they won or not, but I just had so much fun the whole night.
Something I, in hindsight, always love is that when something absolutely hits the fan, he just laughs about it. And like for the rest of us, you know, a lot of the time we'll be like, "Why are you laughing? Like, how can you be laughing at this time? Like this is a serious situation." But then what I've come to realize actually is that it's always the situations that we look back on and say, "Wow, that actually was pretty funny." So I guess those are strangely my favorite memories of Ben Goosen.
So one night we were at a party and Goose knocks into me and knocks my drink over and calls the bag on me. And this is like probably the first party I ever went to freshman year. And he just absolutely starts like really screaming the bag at me. And I get something where I have to lick mustard off someone. And there was like a loophole in that bag item where I got to choose who it was. So I chose Goosen because he made me. And so I licked a mustard off Goosen like within a week of knowing him freshman year.
When we were in Southeast Asia, we rented scooters because that's what everyone like drives around there. It's cool. They fit like 8 people on one. And so we rent scooters. We don't know Willie's the only one who knows how to like drive one of these things. Goose and I get on, we have to go refuel them. We almost crashed doing like 2 miles an hour into the people in front of us. We're like, Jesus, we don't even know where to put in fuel into these things. And we still have to like pay for the fuel and then get on our 40-mile journey that we're about to undertake. And so, you know, navigating using our phones without Wi-Fi and just looking at a map and being like, I think we're here on this map. We do like 50 miles in one day. And we go to this temple called the Perfume Pagoda. it's super cool. You know, we like take river boats through the Vietnamese jungle, and we go to this temple, we explore it, we take photos. Then we take the river boats back to our scooters, and we're just like, okay, let's do it. Like, check Perfume Pagoda off, like speed out of there, like cruising 40 miles an hour. We just learned how to drive these things like 2 hours before that. It was sick. It was like, where's Hollywood, you know? That should have been in a movie. That was an action scene. You know, great times.
This memory of, I don't even know what practice it was. We were in the fens. It was early on. We were doing some like jumping thing. I don't even know what it really was. But I just remember this specifically as a moment when I was like paired up with Ben, or like, yeah. I think we were paired up doing this drill. And I remember like, wow, this kid is super cool. I know he wants to get better. He already has like he has experience, and he has that base level, like some ultimate experience, and also has that like drive to improve. He's listening, like it's taking I'm giving him some feedback, and he's taking it super, super well. I was like, I know we're gonna get along, and I should like pay special attention, make sure that he is happy, and because I want him to be on this team, and I know that he can be a big add. So that's probably actually one of my favorite memories, just because it kind of defines, like, I knew right away that this kid was going to be super good, and now it's crazy to think that I'm like old as fuck sitting in my house like recording this video for his graduation.
When I was a freshman, I didn't really have a lot of friends on the team. The other freshmen, I think, were scared of me for some reason. And like I said before, there were a lot of older guys that didn't really connect with the younger guys. But Goose definitely reached out to me, and he might have been using me for my swipes, but I swiped him into IV a couple times. So just like sitting up on those high tables, eating dinner with him, was always really nice. It made me feel like I was really part of the team, and he just made me feel, I guess, valued as a person, as a friend.
At a party at his house last year, my current boyfriend, Jordan Van Emmerich, still had yet to make a move on me. It had been a few dates at this point, and we were standing there at the party, and he was not going to make a move. So Goose comes up with his current girlfriend, Ari Jade, and grabs her and goes, "Look, Jordan, it's easy!" and makes out with his girlfriend in front of us. Eventually, he did make the move, though, so I guess I can contribute Goose into our relationship.
His freshman year, I met Goose once. I thought he was a tool because he was always cheering during practice. I was like, God, this kid's gonna be ridiculous. But then sitting at Study West, I didn't realize I was sitting next to him, and that he taps over me and he's like, "Hey, what did you think of your first ultimate practice?" And it felt awesome being recognized by him. And even though I met him once, he still took the time to reach out to me and talk to me about how like this big change was going on.
I went on a trip. I would think I was on vacation. I got back and there's this package waiting for me. It was like a big envelope, and it was from Ben, and I was like, this is weird. I wasn't expecting anything. And it was a poster he had picked up when he was on his Southeast Asia trip, and he wrote that he had been holding it throughout their trip, and he thought of me when he saw it, and he thought he'd send it to me. And I think that goes back to how I said I think he's really thoughtful, and that's not something that most people would do, and it's something that I'll always remember.
My favorite memory of Goose has got to be him giggling like a little girl at Camp Bisco while Allie was giving a very low-pitched giggle as well, and that there's just this beautiful moment where you and her were performing this duet of giggles, and I've never heard you be that high-pitched before, and I don't think I ever will again, but that's probably my fondest memory of you. So
out in Seattle for a tournament. I think it had to be my senior year, his fourth year out there. It was great to hang out with his parents at the tournament. Weather was tough, but very funny. Having them on the sideline, can see where Goose gets it. And but the best part was that next Monday when everyone else flew back. Goose and we had arranged we were gonna be hanging out. And it was just a blast. We didn't really go into it with any plans. We found out Seattle isn't the capital. I mean, learned a little geography with Goose. That was awesome because we couldn't find the Capitol building. But I mean, overall, it was just countless hours with just one other person, and I don't know, it just flowed. It was great to know more about him. It was great to hang out with his parents. His parents are awesome. I've met his sister before. She was cool. I can see why it's such a cool family. Shouts out to Rock Bottom Brewery. Love that place. Overall, I mean, spending a little one-on-one time with Goose, never a bad thing, and got to do that out in Seattle. That was awesome.
My trip to Southeast Asia with him and Sachin was a trip to be remembered for a lifetime. A trip for a lifetime kind of thing. We didn't do that much stupid stuff, but like the few stupid things we did do, getting tattoos as a crew, like it's dumb as hell. Ari just rolled her eyes. We're idiots, but I think we're the best. We're the best kind of most authentic, genuine, heartfelt idiots. And that trip was the epitome of that. You know, just playing music on this tiny little $5 speaker that we bargained for, and ripping cigs on the rooftop of a hotel. We're like, it's dumb as hell, and no one else would think that's cool. And I don't even think it's cool, but it was like such a fun moment, you know, and like no one was worried about anybody else looking over our shoulders. We were just being ourselves.
I can think just back to you really fostering and growing some of the passions I, really carry as some of my favorite things to spend my time with to this day. Music. I can think of so many times. I can think of at least my first Red Rocks concert, I think yours too, going to Jack Johnson. I can think of you just like talking about testicles hanging from rear view mirrors when you were really into cake in, I think, 5th grade. I can think of you being all into Sexy Back, Future Sex Love Sounds, middle school. I can think of Kanye in the car driving to Moab. I have one headphone in my right ear, you have the other bud in your left. Really ghetto rigging it, probably not getting the best experience, but listen to Graduation, that really getting us going on hip hop. That's maybe one of the best music memories I have overall, in terms of just thoroughly enjoying it with someone else. So many concerts. I can think the first song I think we ever tested your subs with was How We Do, 50 Cent, and The Game. which is a pretty good song considering the others that could have been up there for the first one we tried out, before everything really went to shit with those speakers. I mean, like going 50 Cent, the amount of times we played in the club, at least 100 together. But yeah, I mean, I gotta thank you a lot for just really opening me up to hip hop, all the way back in middle school, being maybe, still one of the genres I have the most passion for. So many other times, I mean, I was sort of thinking also thoughtful for the one word, just thinking back to, I think, my 18th birthday, you gave a toast that I thought was really eloquently said. It meant a lot to me, you saying, I know that Will would do anything, for any of us, just shouting out, how close I felt to all of you, especially you, since we've spent so much time together, way too much time to be healthy.
Hey Ben, it's me. I chose not to put myself in the video just in case in the future, if you and I split ways, it doesn't affect whether you want to watch this video or not. But I hope from this video you can see how much people care about you and how many lives you've touched, and you can take that into your future endeavors. And if you ever have a dull moment or need a laugh or a little pick-me-up, I hope that this video finds you well.
I love you to death, and congratulations on graduating.